Alright, guys, you're back here with me, and I'm gonna be here talking again more and more and more about some of these topics. So, I talked last time about one of my favorite YouTubers, Biaheza. I've noticed ever since he got married, he doesn't post as much. Maybe that didn't come out right. I'm not trying to blame his spouse or his work ethic or anything. I think he's kind of made a living for himself. If things continue going in the direction they were, he's probably set now and probably doesn't have to post as much. I think some of the last videos I've seen by him, he was working on some cars. Um, let's see if I could search it. He was working on some cars in his dad's garage, or his dad was helping him or something. And I'm not trying to be like a drop. Alright, so the automatic YouTube video playing kind of kicked me out of my audio recording here. It looks like 3 weeks ago he recorded I tested Bite for Life products. 2 months ago he posted I built a camper got attacked. 4 months ago he posted I built a micro camper. 9 months ago he posted I rebuilt a what did it say? A crashed Lamborghini in my garage. So he, ever since Nonchalant podcast, I haven't really seen him posting a lot of other stuff. I don't know what happened to Nonchalant podcast. I think one of those early episodes, he did show one of his podcast mates using Biaheza's knowledge and skills to build himself a Shopify store. And I think what I gathered from that was basically, the trial and error process, and that I think he also used AutoDS, which I believe is Biaheza's software or something, for dropshipping. I think they're higher quality products out of the U.S. I'm not sure if they're American made, but I think the products themselves ship from the U.S., so you're not dealing with the China shipping times, or they ship faster at least, but you can kind of drop ship off of there. I think he's done some print on demand in the past. I don't really know. But I'd be curious to see what if his methods are kind of tried and true. It seems like now he's doing more like home build DIY and reviews. But the last thing I saw him do was something with one of his Nonchalant podcasters, the co-host. I don't know if there were 3 total co-hosts counting Biaheza, or if there were 2. But one of the guys was debating on going to college versus owning his own business out of high school, and because he was already making an income and making money, but there was a lot of pressure to go to school. So I don't really know where he landed with that. I know he was gonna start reviewing or like following up on his online store, and he was gonna start building an online store, and I know he did one round of it at least, but I don't know if there was any follow-up about that store. I'd like to look into it. That would be interesting. But I do think because Biaheza's episodes, he has such a wealth of proof that, and his youth at the time too. Like, I think he was like 19 or something, maybe even younger. So people were really gravitating towards someone so young doing so well. But his content almost like was in competition with all the clickbaity stuff. A lot of it looked not like it kind of had this similar vibe, like here's my Shopify results kind of thing. You know, like the thumbnails kind of looked similar and stuff, but when you start watching the content, you're like, this isn't like the others who are just flashing numbers and talking really fast and kind of putting information like above your head so that you're kind of not realizing that they're leaving information out, and you're not really realizing that all they're trying to do is pitch their course. Like I think Biaheza, he had his course linked in the descriptions back then, but when he went on, was it called Iced Coffee Hour? I don't know if it was called Millennial Money back then or Iced Coffee Hour or what it was called, but he was one of the first guests on Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan and I haven't watched those guys in a while because that podcast has changed into something else. But before they were interviewing like millennials or different young groups of people who kind of made a lot of money online, and I don't know why they shifted into more like larger political money schemes and stuff like that. They have shifted a different direction. I think they unfortunately got pulled into the whole like, what was that guy who was eating raw meat and stuff, and like said that he wasn't on steroids and then revealed later on that he was on steroids. I think they got pulled into that. They did like an episode interviewing him, where he was like lying to everybody online about that. But other than that, and I think they got involved with some of those like, I remember there was like a debit card that people never got their money back from, and I don't know if it was FTX or what. There was like some other type of like program where people never got their money back, and I know they were kind of connected with this Kevin guy who does all these like morning like stock reports and stuff. Like I know that guy had done some kind of weird schemy housing thing, but I don't really know if these guys were like scammy. I didn't really take it to be that way. But I know that they're different than where they started from. But I think Graham Stephan is smart with his money, and he's very driven. I can't really fully speak to their whole model with everything, but I know Biaheza was on there, and that's more when he talked about his details of how he got into making money and how it first worked for him. And he kind of talked about the details. He did. I think the only thing he didn't really talk about was specifically how he made ads, like what the content of them was, how they looked, and then he didn't really speak too much about like the winning products. He gave some generals, but then his actual course had winning products on there. But he did. I think that is one thing that's harder to research these days, are those winning products. That's kind of like a harder thing to try and find, I've noticed. Because people don't have money, and you're competing with like Temu and Amazon / Temu. Like Amazon's like become a new Temu now. So you're competing with basically people buying cheap, crappy stuff that's gonna have way more competitive prices than your own stuff. I could give an example of that. So, I've got a Toshiba laptop I'm selling. It needed a charger. Well, for me to even test if it even worked, and it does work. But I needed a charger because I was like, I can't sell it with no charger anyways. So I was like, let me go to Amazon, because if the computer doesn't work with the charger, I can still return the charger, because I don't have proof that the charger even works if I can't test it on that computer. And then I don't have proof that the computer works, but that's a whole different situation. But, I can't prove that the charger even works, so I can return it. And then Well, I could have even returned it even if it did work, honestly, but I could return it. Now, that charger with, let's count my Prime subscription, my, I don't know if it cost me an extra $2.99 to get it next day. I don't think it did. But anyways, before my Prime subscription even, this thing was costing me $14 and some cents, right? The legit Toshiba charger would have cost me way more than that. This charger I got off Amazon was not name brand. Now, if I didn't want to return it to Amazon, if I wanted to take this charger and resell it over on eBay, just a charger alone for something I paid, let's round up to $15, something I paid $15 total for, you know, including the shipping, but also let's tag on a portion of that. We would tag on, let's assume that I'm going to sell more stuff if I put it on eBay, so maybe I'd put like a portion of the monthly subscription. So I put $5 of the monthly subscription worth on there. I'd put maybe $7, $6, $7 for the 13.6% in promotion fees. Another $6, $7 for the extra fees, and then however much I'm gonna have to pay to ship it to somebody else. And that's assuming I don't have to buy like packing supplies. So that's already, I mean, just to break even, I'm already spending more than $15 because I've got to add all these other eBay things on there, and then maybe put a portion of the eBay subscription on there too. Let's call it $2 eBay subscription portion, $5 what I do, eBay, $5 Amazon subscription portion, assuming I'm going to sell other stuff that will take the portions out of those too. So it's not all like the full portion out of this one charger, to keep it lower cost even, so that I can break even but keep it lower cost for the buyer. That's already added $7. On the higher end, we're adding $7 for promotion. We're adding another $7 for the other fees that eBay puts. And so between subscription portions and just advertising and whatever the other fee is that eBay charges, like including the taxes and stuff, that's already $21 extra. That's already $21 that I need to make, right? On top of paying for this stupid $14 thing. Now, that alone, you know, if I don't charge shipping and I'm able to just ship out of the box it came in or something, I mean, let's assume it's not a big heavy item, so let's assume the shipping is going to be minimal cost. But oh my goodness, guys, like, that's really what the numbers look like. Like, legitimately, if you're trying to sell something, and that's not counting if I want to make more profit off of it, right? If I want to make more profit, I've got to add even more for the buyer to have to pay, right? And so at a certain point, if you're going to be the one trying to sell stuff outside of Amazon and reselling it, you've got to figure out how that money's going to get profitable, because you're not even breaking even. You're basically almost paying like double, almost triple what you already paid on Amazon just to list the same thing. I mean, it almost makes more sense just to give it back to Amazon and get your money back. Like, you know, break even on that, or maybe lose $2-3 if it was overnight shipping, and just, you know, do yourself the favor, because it's a, like, some items, you know how heavy they should be. Like that, when I picked it up, I'm like, this is almost like a hollow, like, you know, the brick that's on those charging cables for a laptop? It just felt so hollow. Like, usually those are pretty sturdy, they're pretty heavy. I've got one that I use for my external hard drive, and I shocked myself the other day. It's not the same charger, but I got a cheap Amazon no name brand, or some kind of weird I guess they're technically branded, but they're not like a brand that anybody really knows about. Amazon Fluff. Um, it's basically a hollow charger. Like the casing is just like cheap plastic that's already fallen apart. I haven't even had it for like 2 years, and I hardly even use it. I barely started using it when I had to start using my external hard drive because I needed more space, and I haven't really used it more than like 2-3 times in a year. Before now, I'm having it used every day, but it's like, or not every day, but like maybe once every other week or so. But like, it sits on the floor. Like that little charging part sits on the floor. Like there's no reason for it to be broken. Like I don't do anything with it. And the other day, I picked it up by the board because the board is completely exposed because the plastic on both sides is basically just a wire that's attached on both sides of this little like board that has all these like soldered on components, and I picked it up by the components and got a nice little zap because I did not know that it was still plugged in, and I was basically picking it up so I could put the casing back on it, and I shocked myself, which was fine. It was like whatever, but a nice little tingle, but that's not what I wanted. I didn't want that. And so I basically put it, I need to basically tape the casing over it. And this is an item that, like, literally, like, I'm not banging it on the floor. I don't even travel anywhere with it. I haven't taken it out of town. I haven't been shoving it in and out of backpacks or gym bags or suitcases or anything. Like, it stays just plugged into the wall. Maybe I'll plug it into another wall, but it just sits on the ground. Like, it doesn't even do anything. I don't remember stepping on it or rolling over it or anything. It just broke by itself. Like, and so I need to tape it back on. And it's like, a lot of us, I think, are used to getting products like that now. Like, you get things and you're like, this doesn't last even hardly, like, it lasts just barely past the expiration time for you to return it. Like, most of these products last you like 2 months if you're going to use them at all. I've gone through like countless amounts of headphones and lapel mics. I can't tell you how many of those cheap Bluetooth lapel mics. I've got like a stack of them in my room that they just stop working. I'm trying to record podcast episodes and they just like stop working. And all you do is clip it to your shirt. Like, clip it to your, I don't know, I was driving around in the car with it clipped on my seatbelt. Like, is it really not gonna work? And it's connected with Bluetooth, and then sometimes they don't charge or don't hold the charge. Like, they're pieces of crap, and it's like, I don't know who wants to run up a store of that kind of stuff. You're gonna be getting bad reviews and returns all the time, but Amazon can do it. These Amazon markets can do it. But if you have something better and you can get on Amazon, I don't know many people talking about it too much. But I don't know, man. Like, I guess people need the cheaper, faster stuff, and I get it because I go that route sometimes too. Sometimes I'm like, I just need this thing fast, and even if it's cheap, it should be okay. But but yeah. So yeah, when it comes to good old like Biaheza, he's got a lot of tried and true content that shows him putting in the work and shows the results he's received. And I wonder if now he's just kind of living off of it. I really don't know, but he's provided a lot of good content. I've reviewed some of it, talked about some of it, yammered on and on and on, and basically, I don't really have negative stuff to really say. I would just say I would be curious to know what happened to his co-host's website. I don't even know if I can find it. If it was on the Nonchalant podcast. I don't know what happened to Nonchalant podcast either. But there was, I think it was 2 years ago, it says, I helped a subscriber get rich to prove it's not just luck. Or to prove it's not luck. I think that was a 2 year ago post. It looks like 834K views, 12 minutes. Now, I don't know if this was the same guy that I'm thinking about that was a co-host with him, but I do think it probably was him. And then as far as Nonchalant Podcast, I don't know where Nonchalant Podcast went. I don't know if they ever talked about it anywhere, but I know the team was determining if they were going to try to stay or go. And I'm guessing his platform, AutoDS, if that's Biaheza's platform, his platform is probably doing well. And he probably is just fine with that, you know? The course is no longer up, so you can't really newly enroll in the course or take it. But if you had it from the past, you can get access to the course and pay for it. It's only like a one-time payment. It's not a monthly subscription. Like I said, it was fairly cheap. I just don't remember the price. It was either under $300 or under $200. I can't remember. But it was affordable enough and worth the money. But I guess what I learned from him that I hadn't known at that time was the amount of money people put into advertising and the amount of time it takes for organic posting. And, you know, it does help to kind of get a following and traction. Like, nowadays it is kind of hard to get organic eyes. There are some methods around it with starting new accounts, but like if you don't really know kind of if it takes you too long to set it up, you're kind of missing time where these platforms might promote you. Like, I don't know if YouTube does it anymore, but YouTube used to make it so that new creators would get a lot of extra free traffic. I don't know if that's still standing now. I know there was also a time where traffic would increase if you were posting more shorts. I also think that time has passed in a way. I don't know fully how, but I have heard that, shorts are no longer just what they were, where you could just post them and get a bunch of traffic. So I'm kind of, interested to know more about, what it is that Biaheza is kind of doing lately. But I've never really used AutoDS. I've thought about it. I've never used the free trial. I think the free trial is pretty short, but it's like those types of things, I would say don't sign up for any types of trials where you're actually using the products if you don't already have a store already set, or you don't already have the social media presence, because that kind of stuff sometimes can take you a long time to just set it up, and then you're kind of dipping into the days. If you get like a 1 week free trial, you want to be able to use it same day. You want to be able to put the output, information same day, so that you're trying to post enough stuff or make enough posts that could land you money, or at least get eyes on your sales page like same day, pretty much. So you can use all the 7 days and see if you get sales coming in. Because what people usually do is they don't have something set up yet, and then they go and they want to start using these products, but then they don't have anything already set up for themselves. So then they're wasting the free time by still working on the other stuff on the other end. And then by the time they can finally post, now they have to pay a monthly subscription. And there's a learning curve with some of these things. So if you could get like 7 days ahead and see what all the potential kinks and issues might be, if you can get like 7 days ahead, you might be a little bit better off, because at least you'd have that time. But yeah, that's kind of mostly what I have to say. I mean, I'll probably talk more about some of Biaheza stuff, but not at this very moment. I'll probably wait to look at it more and see kind of what I come into and see for myself, because I haven't really circled back over there for a bit now. But he hadn't been posting for a while, and now he's not posting the same type of stuff. But if he is, I don't know, maybe he's posting it somewhere else. But yeah, so I don't really know. I think yeah, I know with the Nonchalant podcast, they were kind of interviewing, like, I guess different freelancers or content creators that were making a lot of money. But I think they got in quite a few interviews, and then I guess maybe there weren't that many. Like, who was that guy? Like Iman Ghazi or whatever his name was. I don't remember his name, but he was one of the last people I think they interviewed. And some other content creators that were really into, I think there may have been some people into Andrew Tate. I can't remember. It was like back when all the Andrew Tate stuff was going on. I mean, Andrew Tate has like a course himself too. I don't know all of his content, but I know he has like a copywriting or some kind of like e-commerce sort of course. I've heard mixed reviews about that. Like, there are a lot of people out there that provide free content, and then there are some people that you're like, I don't know, like if their content is really going to be helpful. And he was one of those people. I was like, I definitely heard mixed reviews about his, which I was kind of surprised about, because Andrew Tate was getting very popular in the media for a while because of some of his like kind of controversial stances on things. I would say there was a lot of truth to a lot of stuff he was saying, but he was kind of like womanizing and you know, that kind of thing. But you know, if you kind of just listened without the emotional component that he was trying to get under, I'm not talking about the dating stuff he talked about, but some of the stuff he said did kind of track, like how the dating landscape has changed, that's for sure. How, you know, a lot of gender role related stuff has probably changed. I'm pretty sure, you know, that's changed with the traditional stuff in some households, some parts of society at least. And some of the stuff about like how young men can make money and make businesses and like be entrepreneurial and like focusing on fitness and that kind of stuff. I would say, you know, there is a lot that he's kind of said that some of it was like, I could see why people gravitated towards it because they felt empowered. And it's like finally somebody's like talking about their frustrations with not being able to find women that want to date them, or women having like all these, whether it's pickiness or higher standards or whatever, you know, it is, or just having double standards where it's like maybe they expect the men to pay for all their dates and all this stuff, even though maybe the woman is oftentimes nowadays working. You know, I've always found that weird because I have a lot of guy friends and I'm like, well, why don't some of these women pay for their dates? Like, you know, like my guy friends are just as broke as some of these women that they're dating. Like, I don't think my guy friends need to be paying for all these women who aren't even interested just so they can get like a free fancy date. You know, it's like, because I hear all the chasing some of my guy friends have to do just to put in all this effort, and then they're not even getting people who really seem very serious, or they have some weird attachment kind of situation going on where they've got to deal with that, or they're not hearing back, or they're not sure if the woman's even interested. But it's like, in order to kind of keep her interested, they feel like they have to like pay all this money that they don't really have and can't fully afford. And I'm like, I know all these guys are dating women that are college educated that have jobs. So at this point, I'm kind of like, well, why do guys need to pay for all these dates, you know? I mean, it's nice of them when they do that with women, but it's kind of like weird. Like when you think about it, I could kind of see, you know, how a lot of guys feel like they're not very valuable when they're not making a lot of progress, you know, with the dating world. Um, and women are kind of being like super unreasonable sometimes too. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying that's a reason to just go and like become a womanizer and you know just like take advantage of things or whatever. Like, but it's definitely a conversation that's weird. Like on the surface of it, all that stuff that I mentioned on the surface of it, without going into all the kind of details of how he kind of like provoked people and everything, but you know, on the surface of it, like just just skimming the surface of kind of what he was saying back then was kind of interesting. So it was interesting seeing Biaheza's nonchalant podcast with those co-hosts and them interviewing some of these younger guys that kind of like maybe followed some of that content or kind of like weren't fully like anti Andrew Tate. Like it was kind of hard, I think, for a lot of people in the public eye to try to be on his in his camp though, because it's kind of like, yeah, you're kind of like making people look bad a little bit too. But yeah, he's kind of getting people in some trouble. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think it's I don't think it's too clear what Biaz has been up to. My best guess is gonna be that if that AutoDS platform is his, that's probably what he's working on. Or he's just not being public about things anymore. Or he's just set, you know, because he did start and was scaling everything from such a young age. But I don't know. It's like a curious topic. But I think I've been out here long enough. I've been out here over an hour now, so and I was like using my hand grips, just working on my grip. So I think I'm okay. Gotta get some burritos tonight, so I'm gonna go start that part of the evening.